Good afternoon, everyone. Call this meeting today to order, Economic Development Tourism Special Events Advisory Committee. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest? Seeing none, that's closed. May I have an approval of today's agenda? Dunk and Joanne, all in favor?
Yeah.
That's carried, thank you. Approval of the minutes of the last meeting. Ed and Rosie, all in favor? That's carried.
I wasn't even at the meeting, that's why I was.
You're still allowed to approve them, just don't,
Sure.
if you've read over them, yeah,
Is it Counselor John?
if you prefer that. Any delegations, presentations? Seeing none. Don't have any correspondence either. This meeting's going along quick. Items for committee's consideration. The first staff report is 25001 by our economic development staff regarding updates. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So starting off with our community improvement plan update. So the commercial and tourism CIP document is now launched and receiving applications until March 31st. At this time, the team has received 11 intent to apply forms, and just for clarification, the intent to apply form is at the very beginning of the process, and then once we have reviewed those and confirmed that the applicant meets the baseline criteria to apply, then we send the full and complete application form. So it is a two-step process. So 3 of the 5 incentives in the updated CIP program have been granted delegated approval authority up to a total of $20,000 to expedite the grant process. Any grant requests over this amount, as well as the remaining 2 grants, require council approval. So just to the next slide, I have identified the 3 CIP incentives and just a broad understanding of how much you can apply for each. They are highlighted in green that they do have delegated authority up to $20,000. So we have the facade and signage improvement grant, the planning fees and building permits grant, and the building and property renovation grant. So I have outlined those amounts there. And on the next slide, I have identified the 2 that still require council approval. So Program 4 is the Building Accessibility Improvement Grant, and Program 5 is the Multi-Stream Tax Increment Equivalent Grant. So this grant is for significant developments, so that's why we do require that one go to council. But as I had mentioned, we have received 11 intent to apply forms, which is a great start for our new program. So this current intake is open until March 31st, and then it will reopen for a fall intake in August.
Thanks, Liz. I was just going to speak to the impact on tariffs that staff have been working on supports as a result of this. So in response to the announcement of 25% U.S. tariffs on a significant number of Canadian goods, the federal government announced retaliatory tariffs. So the City of Quinte West, we recognize this concern and what it poses to the business community. So as a result, staff have created a web page with up-to-date support resources and information. We've launched an economic impact survey to get feedback on the local business community in all sectors. Our partner organizations are also distributing the survey through our networks. We are working in collaboration with our partners to support the business community during this economic uncertainty, as well as including business visits. So on the city's website, quintewest.ca/tariffs is where all this information can be found. We're also been attending webinars through EDCO, that's the Provincial Association for Economic Developers of Ontario, and they have created a centralized information hub as well with tools and resources. They've mentioned promoting Buy Canadian, Buy Ontario campaigns rather than hyper-local campaigns. So EDCO is developing shared marketing templates that they will be sharing out with the municipalities. And again, through that network, calls for reducing interprovincial trade restrictions to create a more resilient economy, which is going to require coordination across the provinces, which many of the premiers are working on now. So those are some of the areas and some of the supports on that webpage if you have a chance to go through. And we keep adding and updating it as we get information through various ministries as well. So again, lots changing on a regular basis, and we're just trying to stay on top of it to support our business community as best as possible.
And upcoming is the Work in Quinte Fall Career Fair. So it is scheduled for Wednesday, April 16th from 1 to 6 p.m. at the Quinte Sports and Wellness Center. We currently have 45 employers registered with over 200 jobs available, we are open for employers to register up until April 8th, so we intend to see more. The Bay of Quinte Regional Marketing Organization has been managing the Work in Quinte brand and website to support the team and this event. The website is currently being updated, so we're excited to see this be launched for the next career fair. But we are looking forward to hosting this event again with the City of Belleville. We also supported the Career Edge Job Fair on Thursday, March 6th at the Duncan MacDonald Arena. They had 23 registered employers and over 250 attendees. So as I had mentioned, we supported this event. This is the second year that they have run this event, and we're happy to see a hyperlocal career fair happening and that their attendance is growing over time.
Over to the tourism wayfinding strategy. As reported at the November meeting, the company called Plural was chosen as our consultant for the tourism wayfinding strategy. They've been conducting research and completing stakeholder interviews, along with a stakeholder workshop that we held on February 19th. A follow-up survey went out to all participants and those who expressed interest but were unable to attend. Plural is starting to focus on recommendations and sign designs, and we are looking forward to the presentation at our May meeting from this consultant on the tourism wayfinding strategy. Through an application process, staff are pleased to announce that we've established our lineup of vendors for this year's Quinte West pop-ups. While the list of vendors won't be released until the end of the month, we are excited to share that due to an overwhelming response from our food vendors, one of the 8 sheds will be retrofitted to accommodate an additional food vendor. So we went from 5 food vendors, we'll now have 6 food vendors, in addition to perhaps some food trucks. And so one of these sheds will be retrofitted. And also on the bottom right there, you will see that we're going to feature a new shed that will act as a pop-ups visitor information center. Slightly different in dimension than the other sheds, students will manage information sharing and the games that provide additional attraction for all through this shed. The funds for this shed will be taken from the municipal accommodation tax revenue as a tourism development initiative, which indicates the growth of this particular attraction. The pop-ups this year will launch on May 30th and will be complemented with the Kinsman Carnival and also include the Bay of Quinte Arts Festival organized by Arts Quinte West to actually launch the event with a little bit of fanfare. And then for the month of June, they'll be open from Friday to Sunday and as well Canada Day. And then in July and August, they'll be open from Thursdays to Sundays, the whole time being from 11 to 7. And we'll augment this with additional entertainment coordinated throughout the summer, and we'll leverage city and third-party events that also take place into Centennial Park to increase the exposure of the pop-ups. Art on the Trent. For the spring exhibit of Art on the Trent, staff have teamed up with Arts Quinte West to curate an exhibition of mixed media artwork with artists from the Bay of Quinte region. As you can see from the very colorful display of artwork there, it promises to be a colorful, expressive, and eclectic collection of pieces that will definitely create an impact to the pop-ups in Centennial Park, Riverfront Square, and the Frankfurt Tourist Park. And summer students, we've just completed the hiring of our Quinte West ambassadors for the summer. We've hired 2 returning students and 1 new student. All are bilingual, with 2 of them being Francophone, and 1 is an international student from Nigeria, and she speaks Igbo. They'll be starting the week of May 12th and work through Labor Day. And the Chamber of Commerce usually assists us with providing one additional student ambassador through the Canada Summer Jobs Program. So although they haven't been announced yet, but the hope is high that they will get another student for this year for us. They'll be stationed at the Quinte West Chamber of Commerce Visitor Center, at the Quinte West Pop-Ups in Centennial Park, as well as at various city-led and third-party events and concerts that take place throughout the summer. And doors open. After taking a year off in 2024, we're really excited to be able to bring this event back. It's promoted provincially through the Ontario Heritage Trust. This event will be held on Saturday, October 4th, and we're hoping to feature various heritage attractions and themed installations. Staff plan to work with volunteers from the Trent-Port Historical Society to help curate this tour. And exciting, we're just about ready to send this to print. It's our 2025 Discovery Guide. It will be launched at the Bay of Quinte Home Show booth from April 25th to 27th. And following that, local distribution will occur provincially as well as locally. This 44-page illustrated guide features stories and information about local sites, attractions, and events, as well as listings of restaurants and accommodations. You'll notice on the cover this year is a boat heading through the gateway to the Trent Bridge. This is paying homage to the fact that the Trent Severn Waterway made the New York Times list of the best places to go in 2025. The Tourism Development Fund, there will be a new process for the Tourism Development Fund. The applications will be brought forward at our May meeting for information. This will provide us with an opportunity to prepare for fall intake for 2026 tourism events and initiatives. In the meantime, an interim application has been sent to our angling events that typically apply for the TDF, and the working group will review and approve these applications for this summer. A report will come forward at a later meeting for those. But any other sporting events or tourism initiatives that are looking for funding this year will be considered on an individual basis as they are received. And training and trade shows. This is following up with our activities over the past month and leading into the next month. Tourism and Marina staff attended a one-day waterfront tourism summit at the Toronto Boat Show and had an opportunity to be on a panel with staff from the Port of Orillia on the topic of engaging with community and increasing economic value. Staff attended the Quinte Sportsman Boat and RV Show in Belleville with a booth from March 7th to 9th. And we'll also be attending the Bay of Quinte Home Show with an information booth from the 25th to the 27th of April at the Duncan MacDonald Memorial Community Gardens.
Good afternoon, folks. Just shifting gears for the next several slides on behalf of the events team. Before we jump into the exciting and eventful season that we have planned for 2025 in spring and summer, I have two slides here that just highlight some of the kind of key performance indicators and takeaways from our very busy season last year in 2024. So on this slide in front of you, as I had previously reported at a past Economic Development, Special Events, and Tourism meeting, we were pleased to deliver 137 total events in Quinte West. That includes city direct delivered events as well as community planned activities and special events, of which seven were online engagements. So we do online engagements for Pride Month, for National Indigenous Peoples Month, and other significant milestones throughout the year. On the bottom line here on the slide in front of you, we have some of our impressive statistics as it relates to the economic impact of our events, as well as our community engagement. So throughout the year, we engage more than 200 volunteers. We also see and welcome more than 150 different product and food vendors at the variety of events that we host. The infographic continues on the next slide here. With, again, a few of the more anecdotal highlights of what 2024 looked like. Of course, everyone's familiar with the great success that was the Canada Soccer U15 Cup. We also we hosted our new event last year, Quinte West Presents, which is a series of ever-changing free family fun events in August, and I have a highlight to bring forward for what we're planning in 2025 shortly. We also looked to expand the delivery of the city planned events across all 4 wards. So as well, I have some updates as to how we will be continuing that expansion in 2025. We're also priding ourselves on really doubling down on building great relationships with our stakeholders, partners, and community groups, including community outreach by way of making volunteer and employment opportunities available at some of the career fair and other outreach events that my colleagues have already spoken with. So, also to kick off last year, by way of 3 events that we've won already for 2025, Quinte West is proud to have been named for having 3 top 100 provincial events in Ontario by Festival and Events Ontario. So you may have seen our press release that came out following the FEO conference at the end of February. And so our 3 award-winning events this year, Hops on the Water Craft Beer Festival, now a 3-time award-winning top 100 event. New this year, Quinte West Pop-Ups also won their first Top 100 award, and our first ever Quinte West Presents the Great Summer Carnival from last summer won our 3rd Top 100 award. So we're really building on the momentum of building high-quality festivals, events, and experiences in Quinte West. I'm very proud of the events team and the tourism team who have worked together to deliver these great opportunities. So far this year, we have several events under our belt that were a great success, starting with the Skate and Social event that a few of you may have attended back in January. We've also marked Black History Month by way of one of our online engagements already this year. We marked International Women's Day as an online engagement as well. We just concluded and have awarded the winners from the St. Patrick's Day Community Scavenger Hunt, which is always a fan favorite over the March break period. And we kicked off March break on March 9th with the 2nd annual Quinte West Fest in Ottawa. So we welcomed more than 500 individuals, kids and families, to a pancake breakfast, balloon twisting, face painting, lots of great community engagement on behalf of many of our city departments up in Ottawa for Family Fest. Okay, and so I've provided this at-a-glance list of an abbreviated calendar and schedule of what we can look forward to for the spring and summer of 2025 in the staff report as well. So you have the, excuse me. So you have the opportunity to see this listing in greater detail. Among the fan favorites that are returning, Riverfest will kick off our season in Frankfurt Tourist Park on the May long weekend, followed up by our ward party series. So I mentioned a minute ago that last year we set the intention to get out into all 4 wards of Quinte West and deliver localized placemaking experiences for those in the wards. Of course, we also welcome friends and visitors to travel between the wards to come out 4 times a year to the ward parties. So we return to Sydney, Trenton, Murray, and Frankfurt over the course of the summer with our returning ward party season. And then the image on the lower left here is the unveiling of the theme for this year's Quinte West Presents. So Quinte West Presents this year, Medieval Madness. A really cool online engagement that we did earlier this year was we took 3 potential themes out to the community by way of social media, and we invited folks to give us their feedback on what theme they would like us to deliver at Quinte West Presents. And Medieval Madness was the overwhelming response. We're getting a lot of really great engagements through social media and our emails from local vendors, exhibitors, and programmers, so folks who do medieval-themed shows, and we're really excited for this event on August 9th at the amphitheater in Centennial Park. Just a couple more slides here for me. New this year, I mentioned a minute ago that we will be building and expanding on our ward-based placemaking and programming opportunities with Paint Your Park. So over the course of, let me just switch my slides so I get the dates and locations correct. Over the course of July and August, we will be visiting all 4 wards with a free family fun outdoor creative drop-in paint night. So families, caregivers, parents, children, artists of all ages and abilities are welcome to come to the park, where they will receive a complimentary canvas, some paint and a paintbrush, and they'll be welcome to engage with their surroundings and paint what they see, whether in their head or in real life, for the opportunity to have the creative canvases showcased on our online engagement page, getinvolved.quintewest.ca, throughout the summer. So we look forward to visiting all 4 wards, and we've intentionally chosen some alternative locations by way of different parks that we're getting out to in order to give the community a new and diverse experience this year. And I look forward to reporting back. Turn it back over to the Economic Development team.
So the dev team hired a videographer to create a video showcasing why Quinte West is an excellent investment opportunity. We were able to launch this video at the State of the City, but we are pleased to show you the video now. I think we're just going to try and capture some of that audio.
Business because we're really close to the 401s. I grew up in this area, so we did shop all the time at Trenton Deli, and it was so exciting to take over an existing business that people loved, and we could grow it. There's so many producers in the area, there's so many small businesses, and there's a piece of a pie for everybody.
We're located in Quinte West, Ontario, and we are a manufacturer of tissue products. From a manufacturing perspective, it's a great place to do business because we're really close to the 401, so transportation in and out is really easy.
The area really supports its entrepreneurs, they support their makers, they support each other. It's an exciting place to be. It's small town mentality, but like bigger city offerings.
We have great operators, great employees. We partner with Loyalist College. They have a manufacturing program, so when students are done there, they are ready and have the skill sets required to operate the equipment.
And Quinte West has allowed us to continue to grow, employ more people, and offer more exciting, diverse offerings for the community. There is an entrepreneurial spirit here, which is really exciting.
Come join us in Quinte West.
So that video was very well received and we're very happy with the result, so much so that we had another video done. And this video was to showcase the shop local opportunities and experiences in Quinte West in the winter, because we really want to make sure everyone knows that we are an all-season destination. So we will show this video now. So we've been very excited to showcase some of these awesome visual and storytelling opportunities through video. I think we can all appreciate that the City of Quinte West looks fantastic on screen. But that is everything, so thank you, and I'd love to pass it over for any questions.
Dunk?
You didn't feature like ice fishing and outdoor rinks at Badawa. Those are, we talk about a natural attraction. There's some natural attractions.
Absolutely. So that video, we were a little bit tight on scheduling. So we have the opportunity in the future to preemptively look at some of those opportunities we'd like to feature. Snow fishing is definitely one of them. With the opportunity to do a summer video as well, we will definitely be looking at showcasing some of those water activities that we're all very proud to showcase. But for sure, thank you for the feedback, and we will be applying that to future opportunities.
Joanna?
Where are you going to market the videos?
So we use those videos on social media. We are able to apply some money to those social media campaigns and push them outside of the region so that we are attracting outside of the community for people to come to the community. So it's predominantly on social media, but it's on our webpage, and we also have asked our partners who have graciously pushed it out on their social media as well. So we've gotten a really good reach on them.
Rosie?
Yeah, I was just going to ask a question about the logo. It looked really slick on that video, but it's not what I'm used to seeing for Quinte West. Is that a movement towards something new, or is it just something you're trying out?
So our comms department is using the one color logo. So that is what we used for that one. I will pass it to Rebecca if she would like to.
Yeah, thanks for the question. So we do typically in our digital marketing material tend to lean into the one color, so one color blue or one color white. The full color logo is still the city's corporate logo. You'll see it on our council material, on our letterhead, etc. We just try to streamline the look just to be a little bit more modern and current with what we're doing in digital.
Yeah, it looks good.
Sure, thank you.
Anyone online have a comment or question? Yeah, Zach?
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I did want to say just a couple of comments. The videos look amazing, very high production value, and certainly showcase some aspects of the city. Obviously, short run time, so there's not a ton of locations or activities that you can get to, but I thought they looked really, really great. And was also happy to hear about the pop-ups expanding with the shed being added and the retrofit for another food vendor. I know that certainly comments from residents, I think that the food vendors are really appreciated when there are the events down there and having different options for different tastes and different foods to try. It's great. So I love to hear that they're expanding. That I think is a testament to the work of the department in really boosting the events down there and getting some attention to all of the great vendors. So that's great. And of course the awards for the events group that they recently received. Just want to acknowledge that, including Hops on the Water again, and yeah, keep up the good work.
Yes, go ahead, Joanne.
Okay, I have a few questions I didn't know we could ask other than the videos, but do I have to keep my finger on this?
Nope.
Where this goes? Okay, great, thanks. Okay, the pop-ups, yeah, I think the info booth was great. I think we need to have something like that, that's super. I was just wondering, are the pop-ups going to be available with every event that we have in Centennial Park? Because I remember going to an event and they weren't open, I thought, well, what a shame.
Through you, Mr. Chair, to Committee Member Joanna Marsh, the pop-ups are only open for June, July, and August.
No, yeah, I appreciate that, but when there's an event at the Centennial Park during that time, will they be open? If it's not like on a Thursday, Friday, if it's, say, it's on a Monday night or Monday?
they are not open.
So it's just going to be at the times that you said, and if anything else happens, they're not going to be there?
The vendors are able to open whenever they like within those times. It's just those are the times that we are advertising to keep with the consistency and that kind of thing. If a vendor wants to be open and there's a need for them to be open, like say, for example, the ice cream kiosk wants to be open when the soccer games are on, he's more than welcome to do so, and we can work with the soccer organization to make sure that they know that he's open, that type of thing. But otherwise, they don't want to be open all those hours either, for the off chance that they might get somebody coming by.
Okay.
It's a lot of, time and work for them away from.
Yeah, it's just, sometimes it's kind of,
Yeah,
there's
no,
so many
having said
people gonna be there.
that, during like Festival on the Bay, and the fireworks and that kind of thing in Canada Day, when we have fireworks, when there's an activity going on, we stayed open for the jump last year with the parachute jump. When there's activities going on, we can coordinate that with them, that they will stay open later
Okay,
and take
good.
advantage of that traffic.
Yeah, that would be really good. The CIP applications, the program 4 and 5 that haven't been approved, is that going to be on an individual basis? If someone puts in an application, you have to go to council individually?
Through the chair. So any applications for the two programs that require council approval will be in a report and taken to council. So they will be reviewed by the Review and Evaluation Committee with a recommendation put forward, but ultimately will require council approval.
Okay, so it'll take a lot longer than to approve it, I would assume, right?
As long as it would take to take anything to council. So we'll follow the same timeline, but following the Review and Application Committee, those recommendations will have to go to council following that. So it will be a bit of a longer process, but.
Yeah, okay. As well, the Parks and Recreation Plan. Is there one?
Yes.
Oh, is there? Okay, great.
On Thursday, I'll find out more about it.
Okay, great. And then maybe in May, we'll get an update, because we've been asking for an update for so long.
Thank you. If I could, through Mr. Chair, to Ms. Marsh's question. Yes, we've got a Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee meeting this week where we will be presenting the next steps on the plan as well as the draft plan itself. The draft plan is currently available online on the Cities Get Involved platform. I'm happy to extend that information out to the committee following this meeting. So the full detailed draft plan is available for review, as well as a summary version of the plan as well. So I'm happy to follow up.
Yeah, that'd be great, because I mean, we've had a lot of suggestions around the table, and they've always said, oh, it has to be Parks and Rec, so I think it'd be nice if we knew what that was. I wasn't here, unfortunately, last meeting, and Ed asked about the short-term rentals and the MAT tax. There was no follow-up in the minutes. Can I just have a brief background on what's happening there? Is that moving forward, or? Oh, yeah, okay.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Currently, we do have employed Granicus to do a bit of a search for the addresses for the short-term accommodations that are out there right now. Currently, we do have about 137 addresses that have been identified, but that's kind of where that ends, and we're going to take that information and then go through to our planning department and our bylaw department and all of those different departments within City Hall that would be impacted by going through and doing another municipal accommodation tax, and discussing the plan further to go through with something to address that.
That takes a long time, I guess, eh? Holy moly, we were talking about that for a while. So the waterfront tourism show that you went to, did you learn anything?
Well, we had Le Boat did a presentation, Parks Canada did a presentation. So we got some interesting feedback from those organizations. We did learn that lock number 6, which is the lock in Frankfurt, is one of the most overnight stayed at, the 5th, I think, overnight stays out of the 47 locks, 45 locks on the system. So that was an important piece of information.
Yeah, so you didn't get any ideas of what, what other communities are doing with their waterfront or anything like that? I mean, it's...
Not really. That was the session that we were involved in
Oh.
with the Port of Orillia, and talking about how to bring, economic value to our marinas and to our waterfront.
Okay, okay. And when you talk about online engagement events, what does that look like? What does an online event look like?
Sure. Thank you for the question. So the approach that we're taking on our online engagement platform, the address is getinvolved.quintewest.ca, is a passive approach to participation, whereby you don't need to show up on a certain day at a certain time and do a certain thing. So it's not a virtual event. But these initiatives are intended to share information about, in the case of Black History Month, that happened in February, events throughout the community that might be hosted by other partners or organizations. From time to time, we will have an online engagement survey or feedback form. We might have an open forum discussion board with a question that prompts the community to share their feedback about what they love about Quinte West or how they engage with certain topics or opportunities in Quinte West. So I'm happy to share, by way of the minutes, some links to some of our past engagements. I mentioned earlier that we also offer these types of engagements for Pride Month, for National Indigenous Peoples Month. And so we tend to take an approach with these online engagements whereby staff are not the subject matter experts necessarily on the topic, but that we use it as a forum to link our community with those who are, so that they can get connected with opportunities that are out there that they might not be aware of.
So it's basically more like a question and answer kind of event? Is that what you say? You give out information and then you ask
Yeah,
the
I
audience
would
to-
position it as an engagement rather than as an event, because these opportunities are not, like I said, virtual, show up on this day at this time and do this thing type experiences.
Okay, so-
But it's made to facilitate connections in our community and raise awareness about what things are happening that the city might not necessarily be leading.
Okay. Last question. Maybe not, who knows? The Tourist Development Fund, how do you market that? Like, I know you said you're going to send the applications out to people who already get it, but how else do you market that, like to generate more ideas?
So through you, Mr. Chair, that is something that will be brought forward at the next meeting, but
Okay.
the idea is to market it online and through our social media and just various events that we are aware of and that we know or that we want to curate, kind of thing. So that will be part of the plan of where we're going to target that program.
Oh, that program? Yeah. Okay, good, thank you.
Yeah, Dunk?
You said you identified 100 Airbnbs, correct? Have they been approached? That's the question. You've identified them, but are they actually Airbnbs, or are they trying to dodge the bullet, so to speak?
Through you, Mr. Chair, to Councillor Duncan, the stage that we're at right now is just to identify how many there are, to see if there's a need to go forward and do that, or whether there was enough critical mass to make it worthwhile for the other departments to be able to implement the staffing needs that are required there.
Doug, aren't you guys doing this? Are you involved in this? Part of the
Through the chair to Councillor Armstrong, I mean, we're a part of the process. We're supporting the finances of it to make it happen. But in terms of implementation, collection, that's not our role. Our role is to hopefully receive some funds and help market City of Quinte West.
I didn't realize there was like a number you're trying to hit before we implement. That's first I've heard that part. I just thought we were going to identify whatever and start charging fees or something.
So we still have to decide where they are, that we don't have a bylaw in place for which to make sure that they pay the money or to actually license these STAs. That's a whole process that has to be done. And so the one thing that we have right now is we've identified how many there are, but we haven't identified how often they are open. Like, quite often, a lot of them are just open for the summer, or they're not actually getting a lot of uptake on their STAs, and a lot of them are closing. We did have about 4 to 6 that remitted regularly, and we've lost almost all of those. We've just got a couple left that are remitting voluntarily.
Because I know there's been some sites that identified that have actually come to council, certain areas of Quinte West where there are problems, I guess you'd say, 12 o'clock point. Let's talk about that one. Those have been identified?
The addresses are probably identified within the background of the system, but we haven't had a chance to get them licensed yet through that process.
They've been identified, though, as potential.
They are counted on the map. Yeah, on the map. Yeah.
Second question, the Hops on the Water, has there been any consideration of relocating it to Centennial Park? I know the logistics there for liquor licenses and fencing and all that, but just the optics of it, people say, it's standing on a parking lot. First, it's on the water, great, but I know you know what I'm talking about, okay?
Through you, Mr. Chair, to Councillor Armstrong. We certainly review, coming out of HOPS every year, how we can do things different, bigger, better, more creatively. And so the question about the venue and the location does come up. Ultimately, it is mostly a matter of logistics and the accessibility of the pavilion, for the shade and shelter that it offers to the vendors, also the electrical connections that are already there. So it'll be an opportunity that we continue to revisit as we look to grow, expand, evolve this event. But for 2025, we will remain at the Farmers Market Pavilion. I'm happy to bring back more information about our plans for HOPS to our May meeting here with this group.
Yeah, Ed, go ahead.
Yeah, I hate to sound like a broken record about that mat tax, but in order to get the hotels to pay, there must have been a bylaw passed somehow. And isn't it easy just to put that same bylaw to these people with the VRBOs and Airbnbs? Is it that complicated?
Through you, Mr. Chair, there is a lot more to it. There is very few hotels and motels that we have. There is actually now. We don't have any we don't have any bed and breakfast left in the community. We have 3 hotels and 3 motels, or hotels and 3 motels. Yes. So it is much easier to get out of those than out of the, and I'm still having to chase some of those sometimes as well to try to get them in on time and that type of thing. But when we're talking about 137 that have to be licensed and inspected and then followed up on and make sure that they're complying monthly, it is a lot more work than that. It involves a lot more departments than just ours. So we do have a lot more to consider when we're, the impact is great. And yes, we can go to council and get a bylaw passed, but it's not as simple as that.
All right, everyone. Just a question about the ward parties. Can you just elaborate a little bit for anyone that's viewing this online? Are they a complimentary theme? Any resident can go to all parties if they'd like? They don't have to live in the one specific area?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So those statements are all correct. That's right. So we'll have 4 individual ward parties in each of the 4 wards of Quinte West over the course of this year. So if you'll indulge me, I'm just going to go back to my schedule and get this right. So Frankfurt's ward party will be June 7th. Sydney's ward party will be June 28th. Trenton's ward party will be July 12th. And Murray's ward party will be August 30th. So more information about these 4 events, their themes, the programming opportunities, and what you can look forward to, because they all feature an outdoor movie. So we're just in the process of selecting what the movies will be as well. Will all be available online at quintewest.ca/summer activities in the next couple of weeks, as well updates to everything that I've shared about the forthcoming events as they continue to develop, because we're still in the early stages for the season. Will all be online at /summer activities. I mentioned they all include a free outdoor movie. They will also all include free family fun activities. In the past, we've had a foam party. We've had a corn roast in Wooler. We've had a superhero themed party in Trenton. So we do look at creating unique experiences across all 4 wards. So you're not going to get the same thing if you choose to attend each of the 4 events. And by way of attending all 4 events, yes, absolutely, we are one big Quinte West, and everyone in our community, and frankly, our neighboring communities, are certainly welcome to come out and enjoy a fun evening with the family.
Thank you. And just to follow up to the top 100, I wanted to commend staff because it's quite an accomplishment to not only have 1 spot on that list, but to have 3. If you could just give a bit more detail, where does the boundary encompass? Like who gets picked from this? Is it all Ontario?
Sure, thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, the Festival and Events Ontario is a provincial association of festival event planners, not exclusively municipal. There's plenty of private or professional event planning organizations associated with that group. They do a call for award applications in the late fall, early winter every year for events from the preceding year. Our staff submit those applications, as do hundreds of other events from across the province. It's my understanding the way Festival and Events Ontario evaluates and selects their top 100 follows a bit of a decision-making framework that includes the geographic area of the event applicant. So in the media release that was issued by Festival and Events Ontario in the last several years, we've seen the top 100s broken down by RTO. So there are a semi-equal distribution of events across RTOs, depending on whether the RTOs are more urban or rurally centric. And I like to think that our events are selected as some of the top 100 because they offer a unique experience and a mix of opportunities that you don't get across all of the other different events. I have seen Festival and Events, just speaking anecdotally, I've seen Festival and Events Ontario over the course of time to really shy away from just giving a top 100 award to everybody's Canada Day because everybody just has a Canada Day. Typically, the formatting of community Canada Days are all very traditional and similar to each other. And so what you see across the list of the 100 top events in Ontario is a great degree of diversification and creativity. So I commend our team for being able to bring forward 3 top 100 events that really satisfy that framework.
Thank you, and you answered my question perfectly. I wanted anyone, again, viewing to realize that it's not everyone that participates gets an award, like each municipality does not receive this. It's unique to the region. Thank you.
That's correct.
Yes, go ahead, Joanna.
So I was wondering, because we're really huge on this fishing here event. And I'm surprised, because you can't get that in every place in Ontario. I'm surprised that's not on the 100 top list, because it's huge, isn't it? The walleye fishing derby that we have here. I mean, I was wondering is there something else that we can do to make it better, or, I don't know, I just, it's unique and it's...
Sure. So through you, Mr. Chair, to address the comments, the fishing tournaments that are held in Quinte West are not city-planned events. So our approach to the application to the FEO Top 100 program is only to apply on behalf of events that the city direct delivers. We certainly do speak with and work with many of our clients to submit their own applications for their own events. Inherently, that would be the nature of the application. I don't think staff would be in a position to be able to really speak to the nitty-gritty detail of the individual events that we don't otherwise plan. So I would encourage anyone listening and any of our event clients, and I look across the way at the BIA as well, to submit applications for their own events.
Yeah, Doug?
Is it possible, Director Grimman, to get any kind of update on what's going on with the marina? Or is that another meeting, a different group? Tourism, why I'm asking.
Through your, Mr. Chair, to Councillor Armstrong, are you referring to the Breakwall project? Sure, yeah, I'm happy to provide an update. So we are currently working through the project of replacing the breakwalls at the marina. The project has been moving forward. Mother Nature has not necessarily been on our side through the winter months, but regardless, the project is still continued on in the background with our contractor. And if you've been over to Centennial Park, you'll see a number of those breakwall sections ready to be installed in the spring months. Now that the ice is out, we're getting closer to that stage. So 2 of the sections will be replaced prior to the boating season, and then we will leave the section along the riverside to be installed following the boater season, just to ensure there's no disruption to the operations of the service at the marina. So we still are tracking to be on budget and complete that project by year end.
Rosie, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment, getting back to the Top 100 Festival and Events Ontario. I know in the past it's a badge of honor. I mean, they come out with booklets, they have their websites, they give you permission to use their logo to market the fact. And so the fact that we have 3 events in Quinte West that are Top 100 is very substantial. And yeah, just pulling up their website real quickly. Yeah, it gives us branding power. And I know when I worked with the city of Belleville that it also brought a lot more vendors to events, once they realize that you're a top 100 festival and event, they look for you and they want to engage. And yeah, even hearing about our medieval festival and how you have a lot of vendors inquiring, that's probably in part because of our top 100 for 3 years in a row for Hops on the Water too. It brings Quinte West on the map.
Okay, doesn't look like there's any more questions or comments, so can I have someone please move the motion that staff report 25001 is received as information? Joanna and Ed, all in favor? That's carried, thank you. We'll move on to resource updates. We'll start with Quinte Economic Development Commission.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Some updates from QDC. This is my first meeting I was able to attend in 2025, so if we've had one earlier, I was away. So there is a year-end report. I know council, we sent it to council, but if anyone wants a copy of all the good things we did last year, be glad to share that. My assistant Doug can maybe pass those in. Thanks, Doug. Our good partner, Doug. Thank you. So a couple of things. We had our AGM in February, and our budget and plan have been approved, and we're moving ahead with those. Our new chairman is from Quinte West, a gentleman named Brad Little, who's a Quinte West appointee to the board, will be our chair. We're also initiated originally through the city of Belleville. We're updating our municipal agreement with the three municipalities, Quinte West, Belleville, Brighton. It was last updated in 2001, so you can imagine it might be a little dated, and some of the things that are in there are no longer relevant. So we have a draft. I'm just waiting for the final changes from our legal team, and then we'll be sharing that with each of our municipalities through Linda, and then hopefully get that new QDC municipal agreement updated as well. And we're also working on our target market study. We have a draft that will be going to our next board meeting. So that was a consultant who helped us look at key sectors, industrial sectors that we should be focusing our efforts on for both investment attraction and retention. So that's that report will be coming forward, and we'll share that with the committee when that's approved by our board. We had a great event earlier this month with the Quinte Manufacturing Association. We had a plant tour of a Quinte West business called the Machining Center up on Hamilton Road, second generation family-owned business. And they opened their doors to have other manufacturers come in and tour their plant. And they have some fantastic technology and automation. And a lot of the solutions they provide to other manufacturers in terms of products or parts they make actually get implemented across other branch plants throughout North America. So they might start with a company here in our region, and then other branch plants will pick it up. They do such great work. And then they also did a workshop on artificial intelligence as well for our group. So great tour with the Quinte Manufacturing Association. And we also had a meeting in the steering committee late last week where the Quinte Manufacturing Association steering committee was providing some direction in terms of support they need and a lot of discussion, as you can imagine, on tariffs and the threat of tariffs, and that was eating up a lot of our time. On Thursday this week, we're working with the Ontario Centres of Innovation, and we're doing a workshop on the Critical Industrial Technologies Fund. So it's a grant program that manufacturers can apply to, and we're having a workshop there in the morning, and it's grants to cover things like robotics or AI or cybersecurity and some other things as well. Our Elevate Plus program wraps up the end of this month, so this week, or I guess on Monday, it's going to be wrapped up. We've trained over 500 workers. Another round of checks is going out, including a number to Quinte West businesses that invested in training in their people, so we have that. And of course, we have the new hire program where we train people to get ready for new jobs. So that program comes to, this round of the funding comes to the end, and we're feeling pretty confident that we'll see some new funding coming forward in the future, hopefully through the province. We've been doing a lot of communication with their industry, as Linda talked about, around tariffs, and I know they're doing a study. We've been doing a lot of outreach just to really understand the impact of the tariffs or the threat of tariffs, because right now a lot of the goods are now moving across the border. So the tariffs were in place very shortly for a couple of days, and then they took the tariffs off. And if you fall under the existing USMCA, then products moving across. So we have tariff-free. So we have collecting information on that, and then there's also not just the tariffs, but the reciprocal tariffs are causing issues with inputs coming into Canada, and it's driving up costs. And so a lot of moving pieces to it. We've done a lot of outreach and just trying to understand what are their strategies, what are they looking at in terms of how do we address the tariff, and looking at things like technology and automation. It's finding new markets or new supply chains and saying, hey, I have a U.S. supplier, is a Canadian supplier I could be finding as well. And so when I heard the other day about Quinte West Council is looking to, shop local and try to find some more local suppliers, I thought that was fantastic. So we're trying to do the same thing with our local manufacturers. And if you go to madeinquinte.ca, you'll see a list of the manufacturers in our region and what they do. But bottom line is the uncertainty, the lack of clarity, and the variability in terms of costs. If that's what the president was trying to achieve, he certainly has done that, because there's a lot of companies that are in that wait and see mode. They're just kind of paralyzed in terms of making some decisions because it changes. And I wouldn't even say daily, sometimes hourly, in terms of what those tariffs mean. And trying to stay on top of it is tough. We send out regular updates to our manufacturers on what's happening, new programs, the latest of what's going on with the tariffs. So we try to stay up on top of it. And again, there's a lot of resources that the communities, including the city of Quinte West, are working on, and we're part of that too. So it's kind of interesting times, but it's also opportunities. As we're doing our outreach, we've talked to companies that are saying, hey, we're still growing, we're looking for people, we're trying to, so it's not all doom and gloom out there. There's still lots of opportunities within the manufacturing sector, and we're glad to be part of that. That's my update, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Doug, we'll move on to Bay of Quinte.
Yeah, thanks. Through the chair of the group, just want to pick up on part of what Chris was talking about. And we had a board of directors meeting this morning and approved our business plan. And we were talking about this, and further to what Linda was discussing too, is the whole U.S.-Canada thing affects tourism as well. And especially anecdotally, we're hearing a lot about people from Canada canceling their plans to go to the U.S. and come to Canada instead. Or vice versa. We're hearing a lot about people from the U.S. wanting to come here. So as part of our business plan, one of the things we're about to do, we're just about a week left in a gas card campaign where we were trying to incentivize people to come stay overnight during the winter. And we're going to flip that into our summer campaign, which is really going to be driven by outdoors. And I talked a lot about golf in our meeting because we have a really strong golf product here, one of the best in the province. And we are hearing a lot about people who are canceling plans to go to, Michigan, New York State, Carolinas, and they want to play golf instead in our region. So, you think about courses like Bay Quinte Golf Club or Black Bear Ridge, some terrific courses. So we're going to spend more money this year in the Northeastern United States than we've spent in quite a while. And even on the fishing side of things, the boating side of things, Jen Rushlow was talking about this awesome announcement with the New York Times naming the Trent Severn Waterway as the only Canadian place to visit in their top places to visit in 2025. So we're going to try and capitalize on that, make that a part of our marketing campaign as well. Liz was talking about the Work in Quinte website. So workinquinte.ca, this is something that we've been working with our partnership to redo. We're about to launch it any week now. Our team's been working hard on it to make it a success. And, sometimes people say, well, what's the point of a local job site? Why don't we just use Indeed? Why don't we use Monster.com? The idea of Work in Quinte is it's meant to be hyper-local. You trust it. It's not full of spam. There's a real person on the other end approving the jobs from our team. And so this is something that in the coming weeks you'll see a lot more of. And I hope will be a good resource, some of the folks that Chris works with and others around this region. And then I just want to leave you with one, just talking to marketing campaigns and this great video work that Quinte West is doing. We did a more day drive campaign to complement the overnight gas card campaign through the winter. Just recently we called it our Bay of Quinte Spending Spree campaign. So we did 5 videos, one for each of our partner communities. So Brighton, Quinte West, Belleville, Mohawks to Bay of Quinte, and Greater Napanee. And, the Quinte West video had over 39,000 views, over 68 hours of this video watched. So that's just really great exposure for Quinte West. And it's something that we spent some good money on in terms of driving geographies, especially from Peterborough to Quinte West, which is a newer market for us in terms of that day drive piece and trying to get people here. and a model that we've created where we also tied it into trying to grow our newsletter. And so we had over 6,000 new newsletter signups as a result of this campaign. So that's something that we're going to put on pause during the summer, but we'll probably bring back specifically for the fall in order to, again, especially get to that day drive market. Thanks so much.
Thank you. And Lisa, go ahead, please.
Oops. Thanks, Chris. You're welcome. Did everybody hear the first part? Sorry, I'm really sorry. So since our last meeting in November, the DBIA has welcomed some new additions to our downtown. We're welcoming the Barking Spot, a dog grooming service located on King Street. Beats and Sweets Vinyl Cafe, a unique mix of music and treats. If you go in there, they have a record player where you can choose what you want to listen while you sit and eat your lunch and drink your coffee. But we know that we're not allowed to, Linda's laughing over there, we know we're not allowed to touch the record player. That's kind of an inside joke between the City of Quinte West employees. We also held our annual general meeting last week where Chair Suzanne Andrews provided an overview of 2024 goals and initiatives. Vice Chair Councillor Shelley Stedall delivered a financial update, and Councillor Zach Card shared a message from the Mayor. All the AGM information can be found on our website at Downtown Trenton. One of the biggest highlights was this. I'm really sorry. My father keeps phoning and phoning and phoning me. He's trying to get my attention. Yeah, put him on speaker. One of the biggest highlights last year for Downtown Trenton was the wrap-up of our Digital Main Street grant, which the DBIA received for 5 consecutive years. Through this program, the DBIA distributed just over $417,000 in grant funding to local businesses that applied and qualified through the DBIA office. The DBIA has formed a new events committee which will oversee the planning and implementation of both new and existing events. We're excited to continue the popular favorites such as Ladies' Night, Festival on the Bay, and the annual wagon rides. The DBIA was invited to visit the new Clove apartments downtown Trenton. These apartments are just a wonderful addition to our downtown, and if you have the opportunity to go visit them, I suggest that you reach out to Janie Harrison, the leasing manager who's looking after filling them. Speaking of the MAT tax, there will be one unit that will be used for an Airbnb as well, right downtown. I will put my Kiwanis hat on now. In 2018, the Kiwanis Club of Trenton was recognized for its successful Walleye World Fishing Derby as one of the largest events within Kiwanis International. So we were recognized with ads in local newspapers all around the world and fishing charters and things like that.
Thank you. Does anyone have Suzanne's report from the chamber? No, well, since she's not here, I'd just like to comment just to give some sorry, yes, Brent?
I'm going to say there's not much to report, but Suzanne's very hard at vacationing right now. So we just have our AGM coming up next Thursday. That is, next Thursday actually going to be our lifetime membership recipient is Josephine Robertson of Tim Hortons. Not much else to really report. We're just working away there. So obviously, we all see all the new logos going on with Quinte West. But that's pretty much it.
Thank you.
Welcome.
We'll move on to new business then. We'll start with anyone online. Sally?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I saw, and I'm sure it's probably across the pond into the United States, but one of their logos now is Love Local, which I kind of like too, because that way it's not just shopping, eating, wandering, etc. And it's just something I wondered if we could incorporate it in any way, shape, or form, or at least think about it.
Thank you. Shelley?
Nothing this afternoon, Mr.
Zach?
Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I was interested in talking, just a question to Chris King quickly. Obviously, with the tariff situation, U.S. trade policy, was just curious to drill down. Is it really led to the uncertainty? I imagine there's no quicker way to freeze investment than to introduce that sort of uncertainty. Is everyone kind of battening down the hatches that you're hearing right now? Is there a search for new markets? Is there a theme kind of with a strategy on how manufacturers were looking to deal with this? I know you mentioned a couple of things, but if you could just maybe elaborate more on that if you're able to, Chris.
Yeah, so thank you, through you, Mr. Chair, to Councillor Zach. There's certainly a number of strategies they're looking at. Supply chain is part of that, so both in terms of inputs, in terms of where they're sourcing their materials from, and trying to develop new supply chains, especially if they're coming out of the States. And then also on the supply, like the supply side in terms of where they're selling to, and a lot of companies are looking at entering new markets as well. But as we talked about at the QMA steering committee the other day, none of this happens overnight. You have embedded contract. There's a lot of, in terms of, if you're finding a supplier, there's a lot of work that goes into validating them, getting their products approved, and then it's not that easy to switch on some of those. So the supply side and entering new markets are part of it, but they're also talking about, how do we become more competitive, and technology is part of that. Continuous improvement efforts are part of that. And there's still big issues around barriers and red tape. There's a lot of regulations that we have in Ontario that are unique to Ontario that make it more difficult to do business. And we talk to some manufacturers who say by the time they get the permits, whether it's through the Ministry of Environment or other permits they need, they don't even bother trying to capitalize on new opportunities. They say, hey, our U.S. plants can react quicker than we can. We know we won't be able to meet the timelines of projects. So some of those regulations are impacting our businesses and the ability to take on new opportunities. And on the electrical side too, there's equipment that's great, works great in Europe, it works great in the United States. It comes to Canada, and it's a huge, it's sometimes up to a year before it finally gets approved to work in plants here. And it's costly. It's timely, and those barriers are certainly issues as well that need to be addressed, and our manufacturing associations working towards kind of making some more noise around those issues. And they all want to be safe, they all want to be environmentally friendly and do the right thing, but there's some regulations that we have that just make it a little more difficult to do business in Ontario than some other jurisdictions that I think we need to overcome. So, like I say, there's lots of barriers out there, but still there's companies that are talking about growing and opportunities. But the risk and the uncertainty is causing a lot of companies just to put things on pause and kind of wait it out to see what's going to happen going forward. Thank you.
Brent, do you have anything?
No, I don't have anything to report today.
Thank you. Colleen?
No, I'm good, thanks.
Okay. Irene? Rosie?
Just what I mentioned to you earlier, Mike, the federal boundary changes, I don't know, so I don't know if this is a stupid question or not, but does that have economic impact on the city, the fact that within the city the federal boundaries have changed, riding boundaries?
Through the chair, in terms of the businesses in Quinte West, we're still servicing the businesses in Quinte West, and obviously working with our partners to service and support the businesses in the Bay of Quinte through the Quinte Economic Development Commission and through the Bay of Quinte Regional Marketing Board from the tourism perspective. So I don't see, in terms of, it's more on the political side, but in terms of the city supporting the businesses, that would maintain our boundaries within Quinte West.
Ed?
I guess this is a question more for Doug. As far as the tourism, do you see a real opportunity for tourism? Because I I just paid 150 for 100 US, and it's got to work the other way around.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I mean, I had a vacation booked for the US that I'm going to Costa Rica because I just don't want to support the US anymore. So I assume a lot of people must be doing that.
Yeah, through the chair to you, Ed, and to the group, I agree. And we talked about it a bit this morning. And even outside of politics, we talked about the exchange rate because it's worse than maybe it's ever been in quite a while, right? And so, yeah, certainly I think there's a lot of opportunity to capitalize. And that's why we'll be putting, you know, more of our dollars towards the U.S. this year than we have in the past. And really trying to focus on what are those products we have that, you know, set us apart. And that's why I mentioned golf. It's really strong. It's dialed in. We got a good overnight package booking process that we're a part of provincially too. And so it's a matter of product. You know, it's kind of like what Chris talks about. These manufacturing organizations, they succeed because they have product. One of the things we always need more of here from a tourism perspective is product. What can you come here and buy and spend money on? Or how can we package things together? And that's not always easy. But yeah, I think there's a real opportunity.
And do you see that's more from the US or from other parts of Canada?
I think it's both. I mean, you know, I don't want to get back into talking about COVID-19, but it feels very COVID reminiscent, where we're getting emails or phone calls, which we do to our office, kind of out of nowhere, and people are saying, well, I was going to go here, but now I want to explore what's in Ontario. And I think there is a pride element there too, right? And so, yeah, I mean, the city putting video content out like that is so important, right? Because it's showing this city off in terms of what people can come and enjoy. So yeah, I think we're going to see a stronger season this year than probably we've ever seen because of these factors coming together. Yeah.
Okay, Joanna?
There's a lot of good news from these tariffs. I mean, it's really hard, but man, we're coming together for Canada and all that. I'm telling you, there's a lot of good coming out of this, but thank God. So Chris, I just wanted to ask you, there was, you know, not the last time I talked to you, but we had a real issue about labor for the manufacturing. Is that still an issue, or are they finding people to fill all the spots? Because that was a main issue at one point in time.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair, to Joanna. Labor is still an issue around a lot of the skilled trades. So those, you know, machinists, millwrights, electricians, a lot of the companies are still looking for more of the skilled trades. Right now, we're finding a lot of the entry-level positions are filled, and some of our manufacturers are saying, hey, first time in a long time, we're okay. You know, we have everything filled up. But I think there's a couple things at play that may impact that. And one is international students from Loyalist College, particularly in the manufacturing sector, and others, of course, were doing a lot of part-time work in various employers and businesses. And with the cutback or the less international students being enrolled at Loyalist, I think you'll see that impact, and it may take a while for that to shake out. So it's still a need. I know when the cities and Doug's group does the job fair, there's still a lot of employers up there with their hands up saying we're looking. But for some of the positions, and I'd say some of those entry-level positions, it's a little better than it was, but the demographics and the aging population and the aging baby boomers is still going against us. So it's going to be something we need to keep an eye on, even though it's not quite as bad maybe right now as it has been, say, a year or two ago.
And all of Elevate Plus goes to manufacturing, right?
Yeah, the Elevate Plus grads go to manufacturing, and I think that's kind of an example where we used to have employers that would say, we'll take every one of your Elevate Plus grads, and now some are saying, we're good. And and so we have to work a lot harder now to find jobs for those graduates. So it's a little more, each individual, we have to spend more time on trying to find them a job. It's happening. We do get them jobs, but it's not as quick and simple where one employer would just scoop them all up.
Yeah, no kidding. You also mentioned at the last meeting that I wasn't here, as I said, you were talking about the reduction in development charges to be competitive. Is there any update on that, or?
Yeah, I think I was referring to the city is looking at a CIP, an Industrial Community Improvement Plan, that would give the city the ability to reduce development charges for manufacturers that invest
so
in the city.
that's-
So I know that work is undergoing. I know Linda and her team are working towards that. I'm not sure the exact status or the timing of that, but I'm sure Linda can give you a full update.
Okay, thanks.
Dunk?
I think Elizabeth would like to introduce somebody who's new to our group.
Absolutely, through the chair. In the back corner, we have our economic development student from Loyalist College Business Program, who will be joining us from March 24th until April 17th. So we are very pleased to have Christian supporting us on the team.
Did you tell him he's supposed to get up and sing a song too? No? Welcome. It's good to see. Also, just on a little bit of a side note, I'm not sure if anybody's ever heard of Graydon Carter. He was the editor for Vanity Fair, a well-known film producer. He attended Trenton High School, and yesterday on CBS Morning, he mentioned Trenton, so I just thought that was kind of a neat thing. He received the Order of Canada and all that type of thing, so kind of quite a character.
Okay, and Colleen, you had your hand up?
I did. I was just wondering if, in addition to sort of marketing for tourism to the U.S., if there's any plans to do anything to other markets like Europe or whatever that are also looking for other destinations to go to other than the U.S.
Anyone want to field that question?
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have not considered that at this point. I don't know that our budgets could afford that, but we can take it back and see what kind of initiatives are there that we can maybe look at.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, everyone. I did mention this at council. I'll just mention it again at this meeting as it's relevant to some of the people around the table. Last week, I attended the Center for Workforce Development. They launched their local labor marketing plan. And they encourage everyone to fill out their online survey, as the feedback would be very helpful to them. So it's just, again, on their website, Center for Workforce Development. There is a giveaway, or a draw, I should say, of $500 if you complete the survey. So there's a bit of incentive as well. But they are very much looking for the feedback. And I'd like to thank everyone involved in today's meeting for attending, and enjoy the rest of your Monday. 2 for adjournment. Dunk and Ed, thank you.